Hello Internet, AdoptedMike here, and this is the ASRock FM2A75M-DGS R2. So this is a revision 2 basically of that board. So we've got to take a look here. We've got Windows 8 ready, and this is recommending an A8 or an A6. So it's kind of a mid-range board is what we're looking at here. We'll take a look there. We've got micro ATX socket FM2. There's DDR3 support to 1866. Got one 16X PCI Express slot, one by one and one PCI. Also got 5.1 audio, gigabit LAN, got SATA 3, which is 6 gigabit a second, and we have 4 3.0 USB ports and 8 2.0 USB ports supported. Take a look at the back here. ASRock's normal 555 stuff. Look there again, same as on the side that we saw, and it supports up to 100-watt processors, so that's perfect. Dehumidifier functions, a couple of the different functions that ASRock has as well too. And take a look at the other side. But anyway, let's get inside. It's actually a very small board, it looks like. So starting off, we've got 2 SATA cables. This is SATA 3 6 gigabit a second. One is a right angle and the other one is a straight plug. We've got a driver disc, but double check online to make sure you got the most current drivers. We've got a user manual multilingual. We've got a rear I/O shield of the standard silver variety. Oops, sorry about that. And now we have the board in its little baggie. Okay, let's get it out of the bag. Okay, so here is the board outside of its anti-static bag. It's one of those skinnier micro ATX boards. It's only got 2 RAM slots here, like we talked about before. Let's take a look at the bottom. It's a little different. The bottom actually has a PCI slot, but then the other optional connectors are in between that and the PCI Express by 1 slot. So we take a little bit of a closer look there. We've got an HD audio, then we have a COM port here. And we've got, this is USB 3.0 front panel. Then we have a printer port if you were going to use a printer port ribbon cable to the back of your case. We've got 2 USB 2.0. So then we got that PCI, which is kind of an interesting deal, but there's a couple of other interesting deals I'll point out about the board that's really not typical. Not that it's bad though. And we've got a decent heat sink over here on the chipset. There's our 6 SATA 3 6 gigabit a second ports. We have front panel connectors there, and we have a speaker connector, and we have a 4-pin chassis fan. Then, as we mentioned before, we have the RAM slots, and it looks like they get a little close, but you'll still have clearance for the PCI Express graphics card. However, one thing to note, it appears that it may be very difficult to remove the RAM with a big graphics card installed, because I do not think that these are going to bend back with a card, because I believe the card is just going to go right across there. So that is one thing to think about. Make sure you have your RAM installed well before your graphics card. We've got our socket AM2 socket right there. And now we come up to the, another difference. We have the 24-pin, which effectively will be on the top of the board in your case, right up here. Usually we do see it along here, but this board is much narrower, and they've chosen to put it up there, which I think is an interesting location. But it should be, should be fine depending on your case. And where your power supply is. If you have a top-mounted power supply, this will be much easier, or even some of the newer cases where the power supply is actually inside the case and not mounted on the outside, to where, in fact, the case that I'm using this with has the power supply mounted inside the case over here to the right of the board, so running that 24-pin up to here is no big deal. But if you had a bottom-mounted power supply, it may not reach, so you might want to think about that in this with this board, is you may need an extension unless you have a really small case, or any other kind of, I guess basically if the power supply is on the bottom, it may not make it. So there you are. And then we have the 4-pin CPU power, which is relatively close to that. So something, I mean, that's pretty standard location. We have no heat sinks on the VRMs or anything like that, so I would not call this a mega overclocking board. Like we said before, it's probably just a mid-range socket FM2 board. Okay, and then on the rear I/O we have a PS2 combo here, well, not really a combo, we have keyboard and mouse. We have a VGA out, a DVI out. We have 4 USB 2.0s on the back, 2 3.0 USB. There's our gigabit LAN, and then our HD audio out there. So that is a look at the board again. We'll go back in here. We've got the PCI Express by 1. I think I might have missed that. PCI Express by 1. Then we have the by 16, the regular PCI slot there. I did not see, oh, there we are right there. There is a 3-pin power fan, and I must have missed, oh, there's our CPU fan, a 4-pin CPU fan header. I missed those when we were going around. I got a little too excited about the 24-pin being on the top, and I forgot where I was at. So anyway, yeah, so we have the 3 fan headers, a 4-pin, a 4-pin CPU, and then a 3-pin 12-volt power fan. And that will wrap it up. This again is the FM2A75M-DGS R2 motherboard from ASRock. And as always, thank you for watching.